All right, hello everyone, Leo here, and I decided to retake um, one of my old series of videos, which was just replaying the old Intellivision videos today with the power of hindsight, and just take a look at how absolutely ridiculous some of this stuff is. In this video, everything is absolutely ridiculous. This is incredible to watch in 2024. This video is from, I think, 2021. So it is just crazy to see what they're all saying and what actually happens with all this that they were talking about. It's October of 2021 that Tommy made this video, and we will watch this a little bit and take a look at what's happening at Intellivision. Again, October 2021.
Hey everybody, we've shown you some of our Irvine, California offices.
And I wanted to show the video from the Irvine offices, but I couldn't find it on their channel. Maybe they deleted it because there's so much incriminating stuff in there, but they didn't delete this one, so it's gonna be immortalized on my channel this time.
A couple of times, but we are here in Salt Lake City, our Salt Lake City, Utah headquarters, here at Intellivision.
And again, they have this plaque and everything, and this big freaking office, man. Look at the cardboard boxes. Just take a look at the cardboard boxes you're gonna see.
And I just wanted to give everyone a quick little tour and have you meet and introduce some of the folks on the Intellivision Salt Lake team. Come on this way. We'll start here in the corner with the money man. The money man, Mr. John. How you doing?
Good. How are you, Tommy?
Very cool. So I hear this is where all the magic happens.
This is it. This is where the magic happens. Tommy wants money.
Tommy wants money. This is on the H Bomber guy's video about Intellivision.
This is in this box is where it all happens.
If this box wasn't here, there would be no Intellivision.
There is no Intellivision. Tommy, there is no Intellivision. There was never an Intellivision Amico, and this company Intellivision that you guys created to scam people never actually did anything except for scamming people of $10 million and then disappearing.
And so how do you like working on television so far?
Love it.
Yeah.
Best job ever.
So this is really cool to see today that we know. Like, this guy is sitting there with whatever the fuck he's pretending to do. We know he didn't do shit. You know, the financials of Intel. What financials? There is no cash flow. There is no money coming in and money going out. There is just one source of money coming in, which is the FIG investment scam. And then they share it. So maybe this was the guy who said, okay, so John Alvarado will get this much, I will get this much, that other guy will get this much. So he sits there with an office spreadsheet. He does that in half an hour, and then he knows his job is to just sit there for the rest of the day doing jack shit, and he gets paid for it. I bet most of these people got paid, for whatever the fuck they did. And I ask myself, how many of these people got paid half their salaries so that someone could pocket the other half, or maybe they got paid 10%? This guy is probably either watching some whatever porn or YouTube video there on these screens, either that, or he's working for his real job, right? On time for the supposed work he does for Intellivision. How many of these equipments and chairs and computers and things that they have going on, and it's a lot of shit for a guy who does nothing, how much of this was bought with these loans that now are falling on Tommy for him to respond to? And how much did they just steal from the company and take home? Like, these offices have been closed for over a year now, maybe much more. Maybe they were only open for just a few months. And I just wonder, like, and even if right? All this conjecture that I'm doing is not true. Just think, money was spent on all this crap for a company that the best they ever did was to sell some empty boxes and some freaking t-shirts and bags for you to, print on demand crap that anyone has. Their swag store, even that moron DJC has a freaking swag store. And I think he does, at least he uses his own swag. He's the only one who does. But that's all they did. And look at all the waste of money and resources that they
Now,
put into
everyone's
this.
going to think I told you to say that ahead of time.
Tell me to say that.
That's right. I didn't tell him to say anything at all.
Thank you.
And I appreciate that, and we'll talk to you later. Now, we also have our logistics folks. Ken, where's Rick?
Right here.
Yo! All right, we got Ken and Rick.
Sorry. There was a delivery for my neighbor and I took it. So let's take a look at these guys. Very, very important for a video game console to have these guys.
Yo! All right, we got Ken and Rick. Logistics. Now, these guys, between them, well, you've worked. You came from like
Best Buy, Walmart.com. Yep.
Best Buy, Walmart,
Cabela's, Iomega,
Ancestry.
Ancestry.
Ancestry.com. That's right.
Yep.
And so, how many years you been doing this?
35.
35.
30 plus.
So 65 years combined. And tell folks a little bit about the insanity of logistics and supply chain and all that stuff. I mean, I mean in 7 seconds.
Let me, because the response from them is great, but the video cut exactly at the best
And
part.
all that stuff. I mean, I mean in
You see how they just laugh and look at each other? It's like, oh, talk about the logistics. And they're like, what logistics, Tommy? We're just sitting on our asses. There are no parts. You guys are not ready with the design. There are no games. There's no software. And we're just, being used to derive the money and to funnel it through something into your pockets and then to say, well, we spent all the money on development, but we didn't develop anything since these guys had these prototypes on 2018 or something like that. There was basically no progress made on Intellivision whatsoever. Like just like the little things that John Alvarado does in the on the weekends. And these guys are there, two logistic guys with 30 years of experience in the industry to deliver t-shirts, hats, and carry bags. Yeah, sure.
7 seconds.
Yeah. Global supply chain is nuts. It keeps us busy right now. It's there's a full plate of crazy, but it's fun.
Very
Right.
busy.
Given the pandemic,
You
it's
look
really
very
put
busy.
a nice wrench into things. But
Look at how
it's
relaxed
interesting and
they
fun.
are.
Rick and I have never been with a company that had to put together from ground up, supply chain. So
Right.
it's been fun and interesting. And
Right.
I love it so far.
Well, we have a success story.
Yes, well, we just got in a whole bunch of our physical game products. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
What?
they got cardboard boxes that are filled with coins and old hotel keys. RF, RF, yeah, RFID. Uh, you know, near field communication, radio frequency ID cards that you can tap to non-existing consoles to download games that are just half-baked demos. This is what you have, you know. This is their great success. As I said, any idiot can pay some whatever company to make a bunch of cardboard boxes and make a cardboard box design thing and make something like this. And they don't have hardware to run the thing. Now you can use that uh, to get these games on Android and iOS, or maybe just on Android. I'm not even sure, but they're just garbage fucking games on this stupid app. And this is their story of success, making basically empty cardboard boxes. And they have, as you can see, like they just it almost looks like they just got this thing, this office, they put this plaque on front of it and just got random office shit on tables and pretended to have an office there just for this video, just to fool the investors. And then the
Yes, well,
next
we
day they
just got
packed
in a
up and
whole
go
bunch
home.
of our physical game products. Yeah. What?
Physical game products.
How many of them are over there?
40,000 here now in the U.S.
40,000 in the U.S.
and 10 left back in Poland.
10,000 back in Europe for European distribution. Because when we printed them, we had to print Europe versions and U.S. Canada versions.
And this has been almost sold out since then. Since October of 2021, it's almost sold out, but it never did. I wonder, from 40,000 fucking units, considering that an average of like 100 people play, download, and check out these games for Intellivision on Android. I mean, how many do you guys think from the 40,000 these guys sold? I mean, 12, like 5 for DJC, 3 for Mike Mullis, and whoever else, the freak of these idiots bought this scam. And that's it, right? And I mean, a bunch of clueless scalpers probably bought them just to resell because they thought somehow this was gonna get rare at some point. There are probably like around 39,000 copies of this sitting in a room somewhere, in probably Phil Adams' house, who doesn't know what to do with this shit, and they can't get rid of it. This is gonna end up in a landfill, just like those Atari games.
Because of the different ratings systems and stuff. So they're actually two, and the languages. So there's two separate boxes. But our 40,000 are here. Did you see them?
Yes, I did. I was there yesterday when they arrived at our fulfillment partner in American Fork, which is just south of Salt Lake. So
there you
everything's
go.
Intact. Looks
Awesome. Looking good. All right, guys.
Ready to ship.
Thank you. Let's do it. All right, get back to work. Here we go.
Get back
Woohoo!
to work. Yeah, sure.
Hey, look, Nick's here. People remember Nick.
Yeah, everywhere.
Nick's everywhere. You just
Nick likes shooting small animals. It's really fun.
keeps following us around. We don't know what's going on, but Nick's been to the Salt Lake office a bunch of times. Of course, works out of Irvine, but yeah, kind of helped to put this whole thing together with Kevin. Kevin, come on. Hello. There you go. So, what's your official title these days?
Vice President of Customer Experience.
Customer experience. That's right.
That's right. Customer experience. President, vice president. What did he say? Let's hear that. What customer?
Vice President of
He's vice president of customer experience. Who's the president of customer? How can you have two people doing the presidency of customer experience alone for a company that does not have customers? They don't have products to sell to have an experience from customers. Now they have what? That garbage fucking app on Android. Well, that guy is not working on the freaking user experience of that shit. Nobody is, because it's garbage user fucking experience. And the 5 people who tested that, sorry, 100 people who tested that shitty fucking app, all hate the fact that you need 2 apps just to play freaking Astro Smash and something like that in single player. If there was someone even slightly worried about user experience in Intellivision, they would have fixed that.
Customer Experience.
Customer experience. That's right. Okay, so if you have an experience and you're a customer, then
It doesn't have to be in television. It's any experience.
just any life experience.
We like the
Exactly,
list.
because Intellivision is never going to release anything. So you can go to him if you have any problem with anything, because he's just there scratching his balls and he doesn't have anything to do all day. The guy's probably bored out of his mind. He's glad that in 2 days he's going to be out of his office and they're going to be emptying it all out. Dude, this is so freaking ridiculous. Look at the amount of people working in this, just in this one office. A company that is at least 3 or 4 years away from releasing a product. That, well, they never will, but I mean, just factually speaking, they never release the product. Unless you consider it. But it's a beta still. It's not released properly. The Intellivision Amico home thing. It's just a beta program. So no, they didn't release a product. And all these people, dude. And like a lot of us fell for it back in the day, as if for some reason, like these people were doing anything. But it's obvious nobody was doing shit. Like it's just it's simple math, right? You have $10 million from um, crowdfunding, and you want to make more. So you want to pretend that you have a company that things are moving, because just think of the insanity of having all these people in an actual office working for a company that doesn't have income, right? Like nobody would ever do this. So people would look at this and they would think, well, these guys are big. These guys are really gonna make it. They're really gonna create this console. They're really gonna do these things, because otherwise, I mean, how they have all these chairs and all these things, you know? Well, they just took a loan. They got all this shit together to fool people into investing, but it didn't work. It didn't work. And they just got the freaking Republic money, and no one else gave them anything else, because I think everyone else was smart enough to say, well, let's just wait for these guys to release something if they say they're this close. And then after they do, and after they're successful, then maybe we can, you know, start investing some kind of money, because they already took 10 million. And I know there's a $17 million, but that's just a an inflation that they do with the numbers. The real number from Fig and that Fig Republic, it's just about 11 million. And I'm pretty sure there's not more than that. But they need to spend the money, right? So I'm not sure what this guy is doing there. I don't think it's just out of, you know, friendship that Tommy Tallarico is sharing this money with this guy. I seriously have the theory, and it's just a theory. Of course, I can't prove it. Like these people are either getting a small cut of their official salary, and then letting the big wigs um, like that freak over there, right? Nick
Kevin, come on.
Richards. Because I think the
Don't
big wigs
know.
are Nick Richards, Phil Adam, and then John Alvarado and Tommy Tallarico, and they're probably taking the salary from these people and pocketing it, right? Now let's see, is this?
And
We like to listen.
Yeah, that's right. Speaking of listening, let's talk to Brittany over here.
Brittany.
Brittany, you've been.
This woman was the only person who ever worked at Intellivision. Whenever people bought like these T-shirts and hats and posters and uh, uh, cup coasters and whatever else Intellivision was selling, she would process and ship it, and she worked. And I'm not sure whether she was doing also the refund stuff, but what I know is after they fired Brittany, nothing else was happening anymore. I mean, Gen X Gamer even complained that he bought some shit from that swag store from Intellivision, and they never shipped to him. And after, because when she was around, whenever something was up, you would just write her an email and it would happen. And then after she was gone, like nothing else was
Here
happening
over
anymore.
a
Almost a year and
year,
a half.
year and a half.
Yeah.
And so if you
Poor
have
Brittany,
any
she had to
complaints and
work
you
for her
want to
money.
like yell at somebody,
I'm right here.
come on. How could anyone ever be angry at Brittany? Come on now. So, but no, if people had questions and wanted to get a hold of you, where would they go?
Shoot me an email. support@intellivision.com.
support@intellivision.com, and the lovely Brittany will take care of you. She might yell back though, you never know. No.
She did. That's the funny thing. She did. Brittany was someone who actually worked at Intellivision. She might be the only person who ever actually worked. I mean, you have John Alvarado, who got like a lot of money for making those shitty fucking demos that he did, you know, so he could say he did work, right? But if you just take a look at the amount of money that John did and the shit that's the products that he actually products of this demo garbage that he puts out, it's not proportional at all, right? That you can't call that an actual job. It's just an excuse for for stealing the money. But Brittany, she actually worked. She was
Never, 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 never.
She
So
does everything
we're gonna
in the
get
company.
to
The only
our
person who was actually doing something.
testing department
look at
here.
it.
Okay, we hear some noise. We got some noise going on here. Here's our QA folks. What are you guys playing? Space Strikers. Look at this.
QA team.
Okay, so you know it's funny because
Keep that up our side.
oh, you're playing the
That's not what I want.
the other version. So Space Strikers, a lot of people haven't seen this.
The absolute fucking worst QA team of all time. After 3 years of this QA team, look at all these guys sitting there playing Space Strikers. After 3 years of these guys testing these games, they get released and they have major basic bugs that get caught on Android. You know, it's just like, well, I mean, they were there pretending to play some games that someone pretended to make, on these pretend controllers that were 3D printed, whatever shitty thing. And okay, fine. What does that have to do with anything? Because this was not even close to releasing. And so these guys were all fired way before anything got released on Android. And by the time these games came anywhere, right, they were gone. They were not testing shit. But I mean, there is nothing to test, really, right? I mean, I'm sure, like, look at just the amount of Office crap all around, and nothing happened. They have nothing to show for any of this. This is so insane.
Actually lately,
absolute
but we have
facade.
there's three different ways to play Space Strikers. They're playing teams of 2, and it's kind of like almost like a breakout Pong type of thing where you're trying to get the ball to hit out the shields and then score against the opponent.
There we go.
But if you bring it into the center ball, it kind of shoots it out. It's really cool. We have that version. Then we have another version where you're just all out trying to score on each other. And then we also have a single player challenge as well. So you guys, I mean, this one's tough, guys, right? Because if you just show gameplay footage, it really doesn't. You really don't experience how fun it really is, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, exactly. It
would you?
just doesn't look fun at all. Like, it's not exciting. And so this is a real problem. That you're just looking at these like little sperms going around with a pong ball all over the place, and you have no idea what the fuck is going on, because it's a shitty game that released to Steam or whatever and got like 5 people to play it, like, I don't know, friends from the developers. And of course it didn't make like, nobody gives a shit about Space Strikers, right? And just looking at it, especially considering this is supposed to be a family fun whatever video game thing, and it's just some very weird Pong crossover with spermatozoid flying in space. It's like, it's just, yeah, it's a real problem, right, Tommy? You need to make this exciting. And it's almost impossible.
You say that this is well. Tell folks what are some of your favorite games that you've played so far, or that you guys like playing.
Probably our favorite.
Yeah, this one's one that I get the most excited about when it's time to play it and test it.
Okay.
Biplanes also.
Biplanes.
Yeah.
So
A lot of fun. For multiplayer, that's one of the.
yeah. Okay. So let's talk about that. So for multiplayer, your 2 favorite games: Space Strikers, Biplanes. What
I
else?
really like Evil Knievel a lot.
Oh, the Evil Knievel. Yeah, exactly.
Like single player and the multiplayer in that one. It's a
multiplayer,
bunch
yeah.
of fun.
Yeah, totally. What is your least favorite game?
Saying the least favorite game or the game we are the worst at?
Oh, okay.
I'm the worst at Missile Command.
You're the worst at Missile Command. Yeah,
I struggle with it.
yeah. Missile Command. That's so.
Because you have a reticule and you have to control, and it has input lag, so it must be really annoying to play. I mean, it had back then. I don't know what happened later with the technology, but it used to have, and it's really annoying to control a mouse on a touchpad with input lag.
You need to know.
The air raid sirens. It takes him back to.
I like I see the little Earthworm Jim thing there. That's pretty cool. Look at all those controllers stacked up and charged.
I mean, we were used to freaking Tommy Tallarico being such an idiot. But look at this. Like, oh, look, there is a Earthworm Jin over there. That's cool. And a bunch of controllers and wires and shit. It's like, dude, what the fuck are you talking about? It's like a 5-year old. Oh, just look at, like I have nothing to say. Just look at this statue of Earthworm Jim that has nothing to do with Amico. They pretended they were going to make an Earthworm Jim game for Intellivision, but no game was ever made at all. They just made a, I don't know, 20-second animation thing that looked kind of like a game, but it wasn't a game. There was no game engine behind it. It was just a short animation of Earthworm Jim going, just crashing on some planet with a rocket ship and then walking a little bit to the left and to the right and off screen. And that's all Earthworm Jim ever had to do with Intellivision. Sure, Tommy knows the team that made the game back in the day because he pretended to do something in that game. He didn't compose the music. He didn't, he probably didn't even do the sound. It was probably the guy who worked for him. I forgot his name, but it's just that because Tommy knows some guys from Interplay that did Earthworm Jim, then they pretend that Intellivision was going to have an Earthworm Jim game, but Intellivision wouldn't ever even exist. So how can you have a game if the console doesn't exist?
Charging away, and we have more rooms and consoles
More
and
rooms than
things
consoles.
set up all over the place. But yeah, so let me see when.
So that that actually summarizes the video. So, hey everybody, you see, like there's controllers and rooms and a lot of stuff set up all over the place. You see, we're totally a legit company. Like this is not a scam. Invest now. This is all this video is. I mean, people were talking about this back then. Some of us said, no way, like you guys are just crazy haters and you're stupid. And I was kind of like, well, I don't know. I'm not very sure, but it looks like it could be that they're just trying to funnel the money away. But who knows? But after we know for a fact there was nothing done anymore, like they were really, really just bleeding all the investment money into their own pockets through these scummy legal ways, right? Like you can't do that. It's a company for video game development, so you can hire people. Look at the amount of screens in these offices. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous that they would actually set this up just to do this. Maybe they did. I mean, Brittany was there. Maybe these guys actually had an office. These guys that are the testers that they don't say specifically. Maybe they have this office, and this is their office for their whatever company that they do, that they work for, or that is their own company. Or maybe they are people who work freelance and they have these offices, and there were some cubicles. And so it's like Tommy comes up to them and goes like, "Hey, I'll give you $200 for each one of you for you to play some video games for 5 minutes and pretend that you work for this company that you're sharing this office with Brittany, who works there, and we rented some of the cubicles, on the far corner there, for a week for we to pretend that this is our office. Like what is this shit down back here? What is this shit? Can anyone take a look there and tell us what the crap this is? Does this have to do with Amico? I mean, it's just looking at how little care was done with anything. The videos, I think it's later that they start showing those demo videos of these games that we know were not made in these offices. They were made like by German companies and by Russian companies and stuff like that, like spread around the world that people, these companies got like, I don't know, 50,000, $100,000. I don't know how many of these companies. I mean, those guys from Battle Tanks, I don't think the guys here from Space Strikers did that, but the guys from Battle Tanks that stole assets all over the place and all that shit, I don't doubt like Tommy gave them like $10,000 and made like because in countries like Brazil, the people do that all the time. Like give give a receipt for 100,000 or something like that, right? But you just get 10,000, and so Tommy can say then to the investors that he spent $100,000 on scummy asset stolen asset tank game, but he actually didn't spend any money on it for real. He pocketed 90,000. He gave them 10K, which is too much for a shitty Roblox game with a ton of stolen assets in it. Just straight off like Google image. It was ridiculous. It's just, again, nowadays it's clear. The smart people like Pat Punk, he was talking about this uh, day one when he saw this video. Is like, well, this is just a facade. Like, this is not a real. These
Well,
guys are
you
not
guys have been here,
working
what,
on
a
it.
year and a half now about?
I just hit my year mark like today.
A year today.
At the same time.
Yeah. Oh.
This guy is saying that he's been testing Finnegan Fox and Space Strikers for a year now. What? Since 2020 to 2021? What? Getting a salary for it? It's like, did they actually do this? Is this believable? Or are they just straight up lying? Or is there something to it? Like, do these guys, well, it could be, right? I mean, they actually burnt through $11 million, so maybe these guys also had, like, I don't know, a salary of a couple $1,000s a month to play test stuff, and maybe they're friends from someone, and so that's why they get money for free, or maybe they're not friends, but again, from this $2,000, they get $200 just to come in 2 times in their lifetime, just to show up for some whatever shitty video, and then the money actually gets funneled straight into Tommy's pocket, and these guys just pretend they're getting the money. I don't know. I'm not a pro at scamming people and laundering money. I have the theory that Tommy Tallarico is actually a pro at laundering money, and that his companies and everything he does is just a way to launder money somehow. It's just a theory that I have, and that's slightly, strengthened by the fact that this guy was caught smuggling money into the U.S. from Brazil once. So who knows? I mean, I don't know that. I don't have any. It's just a theory. Like, it's just a crazy speculation. But it would make sense that this guy, if he is a specialist in laundering money, he would be using these kinds of, subterfuges to be able to pocket all this investment money while making it seem like he actually did something for someone. Well, I was interrupted here, but it's fine. I remember I was talking about the fact that this is a scam. And whatever the case may be, these guys are all here just pretending to do something, obviously, because if they ever did something, something would have been done, and nothing ever was done. This game is not even done by this company. What are they playtesting? Are they gonna playtest this game for Couch in the Woods, the company that makes this, and send them feedback? For what? Let them have their internal quality control team, which they do, right? And this is just a clown show. And they're, again, but they play the other games that also that are made by different developers. They didn't talk about the games that are internal, like Astro Smash and uh, Cornhole, which are the ones that they maybe should be. Is even Cornhole internal? I don't know. And even Astro Smash, it was delivered to them by this other guy, and then afterwards, uh, John Alvarado picked it up because there was this other guy in another company that was doing Astro Smash before. I think he was. I think he was in Intellivision's offices there. Again, maybe just to pretend that it's a real company. I don't know. So I'll try to finish this one quick now if I can, because I have stuff on the oven. On the oven? No, on the stove. Um, But I can pause and come back also.
Oh, there you go. About a year then. There you go.
Who's on the anniversary party? Let's do it.
About
Yeah,
a
well,
year
we'll
of
have a
doing
party
nothing.
tonight.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow, exactly.
Every day you
too.
have a party, dude.
Well, there you go. I just wanted to show you a little bit about a little section of our Salt Lake City office here, and thanks for watching. Woohoo!
Okay, that was at the end. Stupid fucking anime.
Amico!
Yeah. Sami probably spent freaking hours polishing and doing the sound for this animation. I believe this is one of the things that he actually did. Like he got a bunch of stock sounds and put this freaking thing together, you know. This time it wasn't Joey. I think this was Tommy. Um, yeah, it's crazy to see how open they were about all these things, right? Because again, it was just sheer desperation to get these investors to invest in the company. Like it was pretending, right? Like fake it till you make it to the highest degree. Uh, but there was no way to make it because they were just faking it, right? They never intended to release. They knew this. This is one of the very important things for anyone who wants to understand in television and what happened to understand. They could not ever release a console. The day they released the console, they knew 100% it was all over. Right at that second. They can't release the console because it's going to crash and burn immediately. It's going to fail miserably immediately. You have to get the investors before release. You have to make people spend money on this thing before it goes to market. And you pocket the money before it hits stores. Because once it hits stores, it's all over. So that's why they weren't even trying to make progress on actually releasing the console. And now they still won't, right? Because again, you can release controllers and shitty demos and whatever, but I mean, at this point, also, why would you waste your money? If you have $10 million in your pocket, right? Why would you spend it on manufacturing something that you know is gonna fail? They always knew this was gonna fail. I cringe so hard at the people who still say sometimes that this was a passion project from Tommy Tallarico, that Tommy Tallarico somehow dreamed of making a console or whatever. There's nothing of that. This was a very cynical, scam, investment scam from people who wanted to, in my opinion, of course, I have no proof of this, uh, just wanted to make money off an investor, and that's all there is. And everything is just uh, made up, is just acted. Tommy is a very bad actor in my opinion, but he's an actor. He's constantly acting. Everything he says, everything he does is calculated to try to get the response that he wants from people all the time, always, everything. All these ways he moves, and when he's talking to people, and what he's interested in and what he's not interested in, and the toupee. It's so funny that, like, the toupee, he doesn't buy a grayed hair toupee. So just the front of the hair is just pitch black, and all the rest is kind of gray. Probably he paints it, but he doesn't paint it that hard. So I have more gray hair than he does, but I have some gray hair in front too. Some, at least. He has zero, right? Either he um, is really crappy at painting his hair and he paints just the front, or this is a toupee thing that he has. Why, right? Why does he have to do all these things and have all his everything about the guy is fake? Everything has to be fake all the time. It's just ridiculous all the time. And again, back in the day, if you're innocent, you look at this and you might believe that there is something real to it. Like the a lot of people said, oh, there was a lot of incompetence. Yes, there was a lot of incompetence, but it's not incompetence that makes people hire four guys to sit on their asses pretending to play games when there are no games. There's no console. They're not even close. They're talking about these things as if they were making progress. Where is the progress? Where is the fruit of the work of these people? Only Brittany has something to show. If you ask people around, they will say they talked to Brittany. They say something didn't happen, or they had a problem, or they needed help with buying something from the store. And the people will say, yeah, I talked to Brittany and she solved it for me. She sent me the package. She told me where it was. She told me how to work this out. She did this, she did that, right? And Tommy did some stuff too to people. He sent free swag to buy the opinion of these small YouTubers who were stupid enough to fall for this crap, right? And that's all. That's all. There's nothing else. All these people are here pretending like this guy has all these screens and all this stuff. Like I'm telling you, man, that are these screens are already there before Intellivision, right? Like this is something, some kind of office that you rent out and it's already done, right? You can just put your laptop on top of the table. This guy didn't even connect his laptop. He has his bag on top of the freaking desk still, right? Like this guy is not he's not working for Intellivision in any significant capacity. He's just look at him. Look at him. you know, uh, I don't know, man. I don't know how much of this. Because I'm being nice, saying that these people were actually contracted. I don't know that Tommy didn't give them like a couple beers and $10 to just for his friends to go into these offices, and just straight up pretend. And they were never even in the payroll, but they make pretended they were, and that's why the money went into, because they say they spent thousands and thousands of dollars, maybe millions of dollars on development, right? What development? They have a couple $100,000 worth of development costs, and that doesn't account for any of the money that was spent, right? Because we're talking about tens of millions of dollars that disappear for just a shitty prototype of an Android box and half a dozen half-baked demos that you see shit like that on Steam coming out every day from single people who work for a few months on something. So that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you around. Goodbye.